Atlanta City Council adopts legislation authorizing the transfer of funds from the District 12, 1, 11, and 4's Consulting Professional Services account or Participatory Budget Pilot Program funds in a total amount not to exceed $175,000 to the Atlanta Police Foundation for the purchase of security cameras within the respective districts. The Council approves a resolution condemning hate and extremism and affirming the City of Atlanta's ongoing commitment to cultivating an inclusive, safe, and just society and culture that values the diversity of the city's community, works to ensure equitable opportunities in all major facets of society, and celebrates both individuality and commonality. The Council says yes to a resolution requesting 3 council committees conduct a feasibility study and gather recommendations for the establishment of the Department of Public Safety and Wellness in Atlanta. The Council's Public Safety and Legal Administration, Community Development and Human Services, and Finance Executive Committees would be tasked with examining the creation of the new department and holding at least 2 work sessions with community partners, experts in public safety, and members of the public for feedback. The Council greenlights a resolution requesting the city's Chief Operating Officer to work with the Department of City Planning, Invest Atlanta, Atlanta Beltline Incorporated, Atlanta Housing, and the Atlanta Fulton County Land Bank to create a comprehensive, action-based plan to expedite the development of affordable workforce and supportive housing on vacant, publicly owned land. For more recently approved legislation, please visit our website, CITYCOUNCIL.ATLANTAGA.GOV. This has been your Atlanta City Council Legislative Minute.
I'm grateful for all of the partners that have come in today, once again to show how much Atlanta is a caring community. You know, we have families that are hurting, that they are trying to take care of housing and food and making sure that all family members have safe winter clothing, clean winter clothing. These are brand new coats, and we want the community to know that they don't have to be without. We have food giveaways, and now we are having a coat giveaway for families in need.
Some of these individuals, these young men, 20 years old, facing 77 years, aggravated assault and having a weapon in their hand, and some of these crimes just triple and double. And these individuals have had to serve time, but they're in a program, a mentoring program like the Next Level Boys Academy that's changing their lives, that shows them there's a better way, and they don't have to do these things anymore, and that they can take life in their own hands by going out there and learning how to cut grass, get a job, and they're better for it. Their wants and their needs are now known. So they don't have to go after things that they want and taking it from someone else. They can go after the things that they need, work hard for it, and keep working to get the things that they want. This is now a wonderful thing. And here at the gathering spot, they gave us the space, the opportunity to do it. And at the end of it, they're even offering some of these young men jobs. And some of the business community needed to hear that because they can also continue to offer these young men jobs. And that's one thing that's going on here. And that's why we wanted to do it, to show that there's a pathway out of poverty, and there's a pathway out of some of these poor choices that young men make. And right now, we heard from the DA, we heard from the sheriff, and we talked about solutions. And we're going to keep doing that discussion as we make policies and plans to improve.
I'm Phyllis Jackson. Welcome to Stay at Home Connect. Coronavirus cases continue to place a burden on our healthcare systems. Georgia hospitals approaching 85% capacity of inpatient beds and 91% capacity of ICU beds. The incoming Biden-Harris administration pushing for a major expansion of federal funding in order to manifest his goal of administering 100 million COVID vaccinations within the first 100 days of his presidency. 2 additional vaccine candidates are working to join Moderna and Pfizer in the fight against COVID. Officials with Johnson & Johnson say the interim portion of its Phase 3 clinical trials involving 45,000 people revealed the vaccine was, quote, generally well tolerated. As for the Oxford AstraZeneca offering, data from 4 clinical trials indicate moderate efficacy. Dr. Anthony Fauci says both vaccine candidates could be weeks away from evaluation from the FDA. With over 100 cases of the UK variant currently in the U.S., officials with the CDC say it's projected to grow rapidly and could become the predominant strain by March. This variant is said to be more contagious, but so far there's no proof that the variant will lead to greater illness or more deaths. With an eye on this variant and others that are emerging, the agency has also expanded its requirement for a negative COVID test to all air travelers entering the United States. In addition to current CDC recommendations, air passengers will need to get a viral test for current infection within 3 days of their flight and provide written documentation to the airline. For specifics on the COVID-19 test requirement, you can go to the CDC's website at CDC.gov. The Internal Revenue Service's tax filing season begins February 12th. This date will allow the agency time to do additional programming and test its systems following tax law changes, which led to a second round of economic impact payments due to COVID-19. The IRS says if you want a speedy refund, you will want to file your returns electronically with direct deposit. You can also file your taxes with tax software companies. That includes IRS Free File partners. These partners are accepting tax returns now, and they will be sent to the IRS starting February 12th. Atlanta City Council member Andrea Boone joins with Atlanta Police Leadership Institute, Badge to Family Outreach, Georgia Stand Up, and a group of volunteers for a cleanup of the Martin Luther King Drive corridor in recognition of the King holiday.
We want to make sure that the citizens know that we are here today. We're here to help them keep the environment clean. We're going to be picking up trash. We'll be painting graffiti. We will be cleaning up many of the cracks and crevices that folks miss when they do normal cleanups. We've done a lot of work just to plan out this community cleanup.
Atlanta City Council member Natalie Archibong celebrates Martin Luther King Jr. Day by co-sponsoring a community coat drive.
This is another example of the love and care that we have for one another. We're in a pandemic, and there's a lot of need out there. There's a lot of fear. And so this is one of those ways that we give back and share with our community. Commissioner Johnson is here with us as well. So this is an initiative that's Atlanta and the county. We're partnering with Workforce Strong, 258, and the YMCA, of course, to make sure that families in this area have winter coats for themselves and their children.
That's a wrap. We'll see you on the next edition of Stay at Home Connect.
This is Councilmember Amir Faruqi welcoming all of you who have chosen to join in this remote meeting to the January 25th, 2021 Zoning Committee meeting of the Atlanta City Council. I hope everyone's doing well on this Monday morning and staying healthy. We have a fairly short and sweet agenda with limited items to dig into. But before we get into it, I would like to ask Ms. Lindo, our council staff member in support of this committee, to do a roll call.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We have Council Member CARLA Smith. Here. Council Member Andrea Boone. Councilmember Andrew Dickens.
Present.
Councilmember MARCI.
Andrea Boone. Andrea Boone, I was muted.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember MARCI COLLIER OVERSTREET.
Present.
Councilmember Howard Schuh.
Aye.
Councilmember CLETA Winslow.
Present.
Mr. Chair, all are present and we have a quorum.
Terrific. Thank you, Ms. Lindo, and it's good to have a full house today. Ms. Boone, is it my understanding you'll be voice voting today?
That is correct, sir.
And Ms. Winslow, will you be voice voting as well?
I will, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anyone else, just so we can stay on top of it? Terrific. Ms. Lindo, would you mind reading the remote meeting statement before we get started?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Today's zoning committee meeting will be conducted remotely as advertised and in accordance with the Georgia Code Section 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting conference bridge toll-free by dialing 877-579-6743 and entering conference ID number 831-599-1256. This information was also provided on the Friday, January 22nd, 2021 public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at CITYCOUNCIL.ATLANTAGA.GOV, the Facebook and Twitter pages at ATL Council, and the Council's YouTube channel. Today's meeting agenda was also published and made available on Friday, January 22nd via the city's website at atlantacityga.iqm2.com. In addition, the public is able to submit comments unrelated to zoning items that have or will go before the Zoning Review Board via voicemail at 404-330-6035 yesterday between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. These comments will be played during the public comment portion of this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Meeting participants wishing to speak must be acknowledged by the committee chair. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. Our first order of business today is the adoption of the agenda. I would ask Ms. Boone and Ms. Winslow potentially, if they are in support of approving the agenda, to move and second it so we can not have to worry about calling you out after the electronic vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Lindo, please open the vote.
The vote is open, Mr. Chair. Everyone, please vote.
Ms. Lindo, this is Councilmember Faruqi. It's not open on mine. I don't know if it's open on others.
One moment. Mr. Chair, I'm asking, oh, there it is. We have 7 yeas, 0 nays. We do not have you logged in, sir. I'm
logged into the wrong committee meeting or the wrong council meeting. Let me chop out and pop back in. Okay.
And we'll capture your vote. It's 7 yeas, 0 nays. The meeting agenda has been adopted.
Terrific. Thank you. Our next order of business is the approval of the minutes. I will pause to see if Ms. Winslow or Ms. Boone, you'd like to move and second approval of our minutes.
Winslow motions to approve the minutes.
Second, Boone.
Thank you both. Ms. Linda, if you don't mind opening the vote.
The vote is open, Mr. Chair. Everyone, please vote.
Please mark me as a yay.
The vote is opposed. That's 7 yeas, 0 nays. The meeting minutes have been approved.
Thank you. Our next order of business is to approve the 2021 Zoning Committee goals and objectives. In our packet, there are 3 goals that were sent around earlier to which I received no comments. I'm hoping that these are sufficient. I'll read them out loud, and if there's any amendments or additions to it, please just speak up or hit your speaker button afterwards. And just so you know, I'm still, Ms. Linda, for some reason when I log on, it puts me into a different council meeting, not the zoning meeting. It doesn't give me an opportunity to put in the meeting ID, so I'm not on the system at the moment. But the 3 committee goals reflect 2 of which were last year's goals and 1 new one. Goal number 1, to be fully engaged in the city's zoning ordinance rewrite, including but not limited to hosting work sessions, participating in public engagement sessions, and providing a forum for reflection, debate, and thought leadership on the zoning rewrite. Number 2, request that the Office of Zoning and Development provide quarterly updates on the status of the zoning ordinance rewrite, Part 3, Land Development Code, Chapter 16. And number 3, request that the Office of Zoning and Development provide a schedule of community engagement meetings scheduled to solicit feedback on the zoning ordinance rewrite, Part 3, Land Development Code, Chapter 16. Are there any comments or additions to our goals for the year? All right. Barring none, I would move that we approve that. Do we need a formal vote on this, Ms. Linda?
No, Mr. Chair. We can just have by a unanimous consent voice vote.
Okay, terrific. All those in favor of these committee goals, please say aye. Aye.
Aye. Smith, aye.
Any opposed? None. The goals pass unanimously. Looking forward to working with all of you and our colleagues and the city at large on what is a massive task that will stretch into next year or 2. So we have our work cut out for us on that. The next item we have is public comments, and I believe we just have one. If you don't mind playing the public comment, Ms. Linda.
One moment, Mr. Chair.
Greetings to you, zoning committee council members and staff, and special greetings to you, citizens and voters of Atlanta, paying attention to our government in action and taking note of the degree to which public comment and citizen participation are either welcomed or ignored by those sitting in seats of power. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. The city of Atlanta is on course to revamp zoning legislation to accommodate the hundreds of thousands of newcomers being attracted to the Atlanta metropolis. For the edification of the residents and stakeholders within NPUR, is there any mention of this population explosion on the NPUR agenda? We don't know because the NPUR January agenda is online instead of the February agenda. However, if the NPUR 9 runs through the forum, there'll be no opportunity for a full discussion in Southwest Atlanta of this policy, which is going to impact many. The movers and shakers of NPUR have found that it helps to keep them in control when they stifle information and keep membership attendance low. The NPUR Zoning Committee has been chaired year after nauseating year by one Lynette L. Scott. Working with Vice Chair Anthony Robinson, Annette L. Scott can be expected to continue manipulating NPU or zoning policies without the full knowledge and consent of the 20,000 residents, voters, and stakeholders along the Templeton Cascade corridors and beyond. I urge that if and when any recommendations come to you from Neighborhood Planning Unit R, including recommendations pushed by Sherry Williams as she fights affordable housing for seniors, you mandate that those recommendations be accompanied by the minutes of the relevant NPUR meeting, attesting that all parties have been notified and given fair opportunity to present their positions. Again, I caution you that should you attempt to interfere with the modus operandi of the NPUR 9, you will be met with fierce resistance from the NPUR 9 movers and shakers, Vice Chair Anthony Robinson, Paulus Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Manette L. Scott, Albert White, Allison Hathaway, Sherry Williams, and the NPUR 9 cohorts and enablers.
Terrific. Thank you, Ms. Lindo. Our next item is ordinances for...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, Shook here. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to put a question out early in the meeting in case someone from the planning department, needs to be alerted to come give a proper answer. But I think we'd all like to hear a little bit before the meeting closes about the extent to which, if at all, the planning department expects to translate some of its recommendations in its recently released report on sort of the history of how Atlanta zoning and land use got to be the way it was and the potential steps moving forward. And that's created quite a stir, at least in my neck of the woods. And I think it would be a great opportunity today if we could clear up some aspersions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Shook. And to the planning department or CLETA, if you like, maybe at the end after second reading, if someone can address Councilmember Shook's question, which is a timely one. I've heard some chatter as well from residents, but it's my understanding this is the beginning of a longer process of public engagement. But I think making that clear and the timing of all the steps of the zoning rewrite would be helpful for the public and for all of us. So at the end, after second readings, if someone from planning or could speak to that, that'd be great.
Thank you.
That's a great segue to let me introduce CLETA Holmes, Director of the Office of Zoning and Development, who will sound both our items for first reading and second reading. So, Ms. Holmes, I'll turn it over to you.
Certainly. Good morning. Item number 1, 21-00070, U2101, an ordinance by Zoning Committee to amend ordinance number 19-01717, which authorized special use permit U-1936, allowing for the transfer of 154,000 square feet of residential development rights from property located at 979 Crescent Avenue, sending parcel, to property located at 1122 Crescent Avenue Northeast, receiving parcel, so as to extend the time limits for construction and permitting of the receiving property project and for other purposes.
Terrific. Thank you. That item is a first read. There's no action required. If you could now turn to ordinances for second reading, of which we have 3, I believe.
Certainly. Item number 2, 20-01719, Z2071, a substitute ordinance by Zoning Committee to rezone from single-family residential beltline overlay, multifamily residential beltline overlay, commercial service district conditional beltline overlay, and mixed residential commercial conditional beltline overlay, the planned development housing beltline overlay for property located at 420 McDonald Boulevard, 450, 1440, 1446, 1450, 1456 Salt Street, 499 Federal Terrace, 501 Federal Terrace, and 505 Federal Terrace. Staff, NPU, and CRB recommendation approval.
Terrific. Ms. Smith, this is in your district.
Wanted me to do it, or if CLETA and Andrea can, or Councilmember Winslow and Councilmember Boone can do it. But it is an approval.
Thank you.
Now, this is in your district, right, council member?
Yeah, but I was going to let you do it, but I'll just make the motion and then you'll have to voice vote. Move to approve.
Okay. I'll second it.
Ms. Linda, please open the vote.
Council member, if we could have Boone vote and yourself, we still have not been able to log you on, sir.
Boone, yes.
And Faroki, yes.
Thank you. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable as substituted. Mr. Chair, if I could take items 3 and 4 together.
Sounds great.
Item number 3, 201797, D2072, an amended ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from residential general sector 3 conditional beltline overlay to residential general sector 3 conditional beltline overlay for a change of conditions. Property located at 310 McDonough Boulevard. Staff recommendation approval conditional. MP recommendation approval. ZRB recommendation approval conditional. Item number 4, 201725, U2017, an amended ordinance by zoning committee for a special use permit pursuant to 1620C005 for a park for hire surface parking lot for property located at 228 Edgewood Avenue. Staff recommendation approval conditional. MP recommendation denial. ZRB recommendation approval conditional.
Do you want me to do it? Mayor.
Oh, sorry, I was talking. I was on mute. Yes, Ms. Smith, please.
Move to approve as amended.
Second, Boone.
The vote is open.
Ms. Linda, this is Councilmember Faroki. My vote is aye.
Ms. Winslow?
Aye.
Thank you. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. Those items are favorable as amended.
Thank you. So that concludes the items we had for second read today, which brings us to the back end of our agenda. We have no walk-in legislation. I would like to see if anyone from city planning or perhaps you, Ms. Holmes, would like to speak to Councilmember Shook's query from a few minutes ago.
Certainly. I believe Councilmember Shook is referring to city design housing. That legislation and associated zoning changes is principally being led by the Office of Housing and Development. However, they have been circulating in the MPUs and providing information on that proposal. In addition to that, on February the 11th, they will be having or holding an MPU university to discuss any proposals to that legislation. But in short, it is an expansion of the accessory dwelling units and some cleanup of the zoning ordinance update that spoke to accessory dwelling units. And if you need anything more in-depth, council member, I can have both Joshua Humphreys from the Office of Housing and Development as well as Commissioner King perhaps to come to provide you with more information prior to council meeting and to come to the next zoning committee meeting.
Right. So
yeah, I think. Go ahead, Mr. Shook. I'm sorry.
Well, so that ADU modification, that is in the form of pending introduced legislation?
No, sir, it is not. That is what the proposal is.
Oh, okay. So in fact, nothing has yet made it to a blue back yet.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, I see. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's great. I think that we all have that question, and I'll take that question one step further. Ms. Holmes, do you anticipate when city planning or the Office of Housing intends to try and introduce paper on the matter?
I believe, sir, the end of February, if not the beginning of March.
Okay. Yeah, so I think to your suggestion earlier, it would be terrific if Commissioner Keene and anyone from Housing could join our next zoning committee meeting, just to give a quick overview of both the background, which I think most of us are familiar with, but just to put us all on the same page, and then the status of public engagement and the timeline that they are proposing.
Certainly, I will do that.
Okay, thank you. Terrific. Well, that brings us into our meeting. Any comments from the body for the good of the order, or any announcements that folks would like to make? Great. Well, barring none, I wish everyone a terrific Monday, and we will reconvene for our next zoning committee meeting in 2 weeks. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
You too.